You notice it in small moments first. Someone else gets picked. Someone else gets called back. Someone else gets the message. Someone else gets the look that lingers just a little longer. You tell yourself it is nothing, just timing, just luck, just life being life. But there is a quiet voice under that, a tired voice, a voice that has been there longer than you want to admit. It whispers something you almost do not want to hear. What if I am just not the one people choose? You keep moving. You keep smiling. You learn how to clap for other people while something inside you goes very still. You learn how to pretend it does not hurt. And maybe the hardest part is this. Most people never notice this pain, because on the outside, you look fine. You show up, you care deeply, you try harder than most people ever will, and still, something feels slightly out of reach, like standing outside a warm room and watching everyone else through the glass. You are there, but you are not inside. Over time, this becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a pattern. You start expecting to be the backup plan, the almost, the maybe later, the person who's liked but not chosen. Psychology has a quiet name for this kind of wound. Not a label, not a diagnosis, just a way to understand it. It often grows from attachment, from how safe or unsafe it felt to need someone when you were small. If love felt uncertain, if attention came and went, if praise was rare or came only when you were perfect, your brain learned something very early. Love is not stable. Attention is not guaranteed. Being wanted is temporary. So your nervous system adapted. You learned to be easy. You learned to not ask for too much. You learned to read rooms before you spoke. You learned how to shrink your needs so you would not be too much. Because somewhere in your early world, being fully yourself felt risky. Maybe people were distracted. Maybe they were stressed. Maybe they loved you but could not show it in ways you could feel. Or maybe you learned that attention only came when you achieved something, when you were good, when you were useful, when you made things easier for everyone else. So you started building a quiet belief. If I'm perfect enough, helpful enough, easy enough, someone will finally choose me. This is not weakness. This is survival. A child cannot choose their environment, but a child can learn how to adapt to it. And adaptation can look like invisibility. It can look like being the strong one. It can look like never asking to be picked first. As you grow older, this pattern gets quieter, but it does not disappear. It follows you into friendships, into love, into work, into rooms where you smile and laugh and feel slightly replaceable. You might notice you're drawn to people who feel just out of reach, emotionally distant, busy, unclear about you. Not because you enjoy pain, but because uncertainty feels familiar. Familiar can feel like home, even when it hurts. You might find yourself overgiving, overthinking texts, replaying conversations at night. Did I say too much? Was I annoying? Did I make it weird? You might be shocked when someone actually shows clear interest in you, like your brain doesn't trust it. You might wait for the moment they change their mind, because part of you expects that moment. And when rejection happens, even small rejection, it can feel huge, not just about now, but about every time you were not picked before. It stacks. There is also another side to this pattern, one that people rarely see. You become very good at seeing others. You notice shifts in tone. You feel tension before anyone says a word. You know how to make people comfortable. This likely helped you survive earlier in life. It helped you stay connected. It helped you stay safe. But now it can come at a cost. Because while you're busy reading everyone else, who is reading you? While you're busy making space for everyone else, who is making space for you? And maybe the deepest conflict sits right here. This pattern once protected you. It helped you keep love. It helped you avoid rejection. It helped you belong, at least a little. But now it can quietly convince you that you are always second, always optional, always lucky just to be included. And you might not even question it because it feels normal. Sometimes you might push people away before they can leave you. Sometimes you might settle for half love because half feels safer than risking none. Sometimes you might not even try for things you want because not being chosen feels predictable, and predictable feels safe. There is nothing broken about this. Your brain is doing exactly what it learned to do. It is trying to protect you from the pain it remembers. But protection and restriction can start to look the same after a while. And there is a quiet moment that can happen. Not dramatic, not loud, not life-changing in 1 second, just a small pause. A moment where you notice the pattern instead of automatically living inside it. Maybe you notice how fast you assume someone will lose interest. Maybe you notice how uncomfortable it feels when someone treats you like a priority. Maybe you notice how quickly you minimize your own needs. Just noticing, nothing else yet. Because awareness is not about fixing yourself. It's about seeing yourself clearly for the first time. Seeing how much of this was built out of fear and how much of it was built out of love. Love that you were trying to keep. Love that you were trying not to lose. There is something deeply human about wanting to be chosen. Not for what you do, not for what you give, not for how easy you are to have around. Just chosen, as you are, on an ordinary day, in an ordinary moment. You do not need to rush into becoming someone new. You do not need to force confidence. You do not need to suddenly believe you are always worthy of being first. Maybe it starts smaller than that. Maybe it starts with letting yourself feel the grief of all the times you felt invisible, without telling yourself you are being dramatic, without telling yourself others had it worse. Pain does not need comparison to be real. Maybe it starts with letting the idea exist that someone could choose you, not because you earned it, not because you proved something, just because you are you. That idea might feel strange, even uncomfortable. That's okay. New emotional experiences often feel unsafe before they feel safe. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not secretly less valuable than everyone else who seemed to get chosen more easily. You just adapted to a world that taught you something very early, and now you are slowly seeing it. There is power in that, quiet power, not loud, not flashy, but real. You might still have days where you feel like the extra chair at the table. You might still have moments where you brace for rejection before it even exists. Patterns don't disappear overnight. They soften, they loosen, they slowly give you more space to breathe. And maybe one day, in a small moment, you'll notice something different. You'll notice someone staying. You'll notice someone choosing you. And you'll notice a part of you wants to run. And another part of you will just sit there, breathing, letting it happen, not forcing yourself to believe it, just not pushing it away. Sometimes healing doesn't feel like growth. Sometimes it just feels like staying in the room a little longer than you used to. If you have spent most of your life feeling unchosen, it makes sense that your heart learned to stand slightly to the side. But standing to the side is not the same as not belonging. You were never invisible. You were adapting. And right now, maybe all that matters is this small, quiet realization. The feeling of not being chosen is a story your nervous system learned, not a verdict on who you are. You are not an afterthought in your own life, even if it has felt that way for a long time. And maybe tonight, or tomorrow, or some random moment months from now,
You'll catch yourself expecting to be overlooked, and you might pause, and you might think very quietly, maybe I'm allowed to be seen too. And you don't need to do anything else with that thought. Just let it exist. Just let it sit beside you, like a door that has been closed for a long time, and for the first time, you can feel a little air coming through the edges. You don't have to open it today, but now you know it's there.